Yeah, it's the Archivest exclusively interviewing Dom Kennedy.
Yeah.
And who is
Leimert part.
Dom Kennedy?
You know what I'm saying? It's just my neighborhood I'm from LA, South Central, west side of South Central, Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? My little community. I settled at, you know what I'm saying, and got my music career thing started. Grew up at was Leimert Park, you know, big part of my music. It's kind of just like the setting, backdrop, you know, to where the Dom Kennedy story takes place. But, you know, just a rapper out of LA, man, spreading the word.
And on to the start of your career, you've done 5 mixtapes, and now share about the 25th Hour and the hit single Watermelon Sunday, where it all began.
Yeah, that CD was a little, you know, it was kind of like a trial and error type thing in terms of I made a lot of the music with my cousin, you know, who was making beats at the time, and we was just like kids who just love rap, and I kind of, you know, it was my ode to the things that I grew up on, kind of, you know. I wasn't trying to take myself too serious. I didn't really know, you know, what the possibilities were or what could happen. You know, and one of the songs off that tape was a song called Watermelon Sunday, and my cousin who made the beats actually was in film school at that time, so we had access to shooting a video, which was real important for us at that time, you know, and I put like a visual to the song that I think traveled all over, you know, just left our area, you know. People watched that and saw my music and then, you know, just gravitated towards, you know, what we were doing, and I think that song and the video was a big part of that, you know, a big part of my early, you know, not really success, but just awareness.
And Future Street, Drug Sounds, Best After Bobby, and only after a few short hours you got more than 10K of downloads. And then the original Dom Kennedy. Share about your creativity on each project and Menace Beach.
Creativity on each project, I just think that as I go further and further in the music business, I like to challenge myself. I don't like to do really the same thing that I did before. So with each one of those projects, like I remember after 25th Hour, you know, it was like an innocent type of thing. Like I didn't really care about blogs or, you know, the music business and stuff. But as I got to Future Street, I started to kind of want to formulate hooks, you know, and more songs. So that's why Future Street was a little bit more mature in terms of it sounded like a real album. Like I wanted to make like a real like project, you know, all original. So that's why it was like that. And then, you know, so each project is just like, then I had From the West Side with Love in 2010, the first one, and that was like my biggest project, you know, up until that time, and that kind of jumped off. And it's just like, I just like to just mature with the music, you know, and just incorporate what's going on in my life and just, you know, get better, really, you know, but always also I try to just bring something to the table, you know.
And you just recently were sharing about From the West Side with Love. More than 100K downloads, and now part 2. How is that going for you, and what's next?
Yeah, part 2 we put out, that was my first album I put out for sale, you know, so it was a little bit different in terms of just, you know, I knew I had fans, you know what I'm saying, but it was good to see like it independently. I put it out, it reached number 2, you know, on the hip-hop charts, and number 10 overall with all music genres on iTunes. And it was just dope to know, but I feel like that was a product of all the tapes that I put out before for free, you know. 25th Hour, Future Street, Best After Bobby, all of those played a part. The original Dom Kennedy, and the reason why people went to iTunes to buy that album, you know, just to show their support, you know. And it was real dope to do that. You know, I had fun making the first From the West Side with Love and the second one. You know, I couldn't have made the second one. Like, literally, I made the second one because I was able to tour off the first one and buy my own studio equipment, and I now have my own studio. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't even have been able, you know, to make the second one. So it's kind of like, it's definitely a blessing, you know what I'm saying? I was happy to see all the fans support, because you don't never really know, you know, especially with the internet, it's so impersonal. You know, you got people that will do stuff for free, that doesn't mean that they will spend money, you know, with you. So it was good just to see people support me, and, you know, I could stand on those numbers.
And a large look sponsored by The Hundreds and others spoken about your come-up, such as Ricky Rose and The Game. Can you share about the Sneaker Pimps tour?
The Sneaker Pimp, that was early on when I first started. That was like after 25th Hour, because kind of like around that time, it was a lot of like up-and-coming groups, you know, who are like, I guess you would say, into like fashion. Like I was one of those guys who's, even today, you know, but even back then, it was like a real concentrated group of people that was like into fashion. You mentioned The Hundreds. Shout out to The Hundreds. We did a lookbook with them. Myself, Pac Div, and Carter, we did a song in an online lookbook, you know, for them a couple years ago. And it was just, you know, the fashion has always really been a part of my life, you know what I'm saying? So I guess that's kind of how I got the opportunity to be on Sneaker Pimps, just having songs, and I guess they saw my fan base was kind of like similar to their fan base, you know, so they just gave me the opportunity.
And a show you did in Djibouti, Africa, and you also did the Paid Dues, and you slayed South by Southwest, and documented in the Source with performances alongside of J. Cole. Share on these accomplishments.
Going to Africa, first and foremost, that was a great experience, you know, just to say I've been there. First of all, a lot of people, especially being from the United States, can't really say that they've been, you know, outside the country, let alone Africa. So just as a person, you know, a citizen of the world, it was just dope to go out there and then to share my music, you know, was a unique experience. Just coming from LA, and my music is so, you know, centralized to LA, but to realize that people outside of that understand my story and listen to my music is really a dope feeling, you know. And then all those other things talked about, like South by Southwest, that was like my second year going. This past year, I always have fun at things like that, you know what I'm saying? Just to be amongst your peers. Like you mentioned, I did the BT showcase with J. Cole. There's a lot of people, Miguel, all the showcases that you do, you know, have people that's directly, you know, in your peer group, I guess you would say. So it's always like a thing where you want to like showcase your talents and you know what I'm saying, let people know what you bring to the table. So those are the moments that I like to take advantage of.
And working with the new hot pop and new generation, Big Sean, Kendrick Lamar, Pac Div, Currency, Casey Veggie, Smoke DZA, and Juicy J. Tell us more on the LAX Paper Boys and Just Be Cool.
Well, Just Be Cool is just, it's kind of like started as an organic type of slogan thing that we said. We used to have events. Shout out to my homie Gavin Mizzle in LA. He's the founder of it and the head guy in charge. It was kind of like a thing we wanted to do, to have events like we did when Haiti had that big earthquake. We had concerts, you know, just because we could have concerts and raise a lot of money and do shows. Like we had one a couple years ago for Earth Day that we put together that actually Kendrick performed that, I did, Pac did, like just all the artists, just pulling our resources together more so to do something positive, you know what I'm saying? Because we travel so much, what I do, and you know, and people see us and they say, oh, you party, and all of that is fun, you know, but we try to do more than just that, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how the Just Be Cool thing started. I started putting them on drops. 25th Hour, he was on there, Future Street, you know, and Locals Only on Original from the West Side with Love. Just putting little messages in the music, you know what I'm saying? Because I think kids really pay attention to things like that, and it sticks with them, just to know where you stand, you know, and where your mindset is. So that's kind of what it is.
And your thoughts on the industry and hip-hop today for this new generation?
My thoughts? I think it's a great time. I feel like it's a great time to be free with music. I was just thinking that earlier, like you could really create, you know, more than just being a rap artist. You could express yourself more so through music. I feel like being independent, and the fact that, you know, people that you could make a pop record that a label will want you to make, but it still might not sell, you know, and then you can make a rap song from the heart and it might do better, you know, you never know, but you have that opportunity right now. You can argue your case, you know, so it's an interesting time in order to, you know, be able to create. And I just, like, when I approach my music, I just always want to, you know, come from a standpoint of just being free, you know, and challenging myself to be a better person and to express that through the music.
And what do we have to look forward to with what you're coming out? Any hot collabs or singles?
I'm working on videos. I got a lot of videos I'm going to be putting out. I'm off from the West Side with Love too, of course. A lot of shows coming up. I'll be like touring throughout the whole fall around the U.S. But that's pretty much it.
And the biggest crowd that you've ever rocked?
Biggest crowd? Probably Paid Dues, I would say, because, you know, it gets to be like a couple thousand people out there. And venues probably like, yeah, I would probably say like a couple thousand, 2,000 or 3,000.
And your best hip-hop memory you've been part of or contributed to?
I've been a part of or contributed to? Wow. Man. I don't know. The ones that I remember is just traveling and meeting people, you know, like every once in a while I'll go somewhere and I'll meet somebody that wants to either rap or, you know, is rapping, and they, you know, they just need that encouragement, or to talk to somebody that's done it, or that they consider, you know, somebody at a plateau that they want to get to. And me just being that person, because I know how it feels and how it felt to, you know, wondering, like, could I really do this, you know? And the fact that I'm living that dream and really being, you know, being successful and living my everyday life, you know, just off the music, I love to, you know, just share my story and really talk to people and tell them, well, this is what I did, this is what you could do. You know, these are things I did right. This is something that you might, you know, want to learn from. Maybe I did wrong. You know, those are the type of stories, the things that I remember, you know.
And you have anything to share and say to Canada?
Canada, I thought y'all was going to win it. Canucks, I thought y'all was going to win it. You know what I'm saying? I was rooting for y'all next year, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully y'all can pull it together. I'll be back.
And you got any shouts?
Shout out to the Archivest, Lil T. Lil T. You know what I'm saying? Dom Kennedy, Leimert Park, from the West Side with Love 2 is available right now. Go get that.
And shouts to Anwar and Archie and Aaron at Fortune Sound Club. And this is the Archivest, and you already know the name, y'all.